So this is today's topic, Kulrosh's law. Now the law has two parts actually. We have to study the law and later we'll be doing the applications of this law. But in this presentation we'll just study the law. And I've taken a very random picture in this first slide. This is the man Kulrosh who did an elaborate study and later gave us the law by this name. Let's see what the study was and what the law is. Okay. Now what he did in his study was this, that he took a number of pairs of strong electrolytes at infinite dilution, right? Pairs of electrolytes but only strong electrolytes, and all of them at infinite dilution, which I've told you previously also that infinite dilution is the state जब आप इतना solvent add करें किसी solution में that it no longer changes the concentration of the solution, right? By common sense you can understand अगर हम ज़्यादा solvent add करेंगे तो concentration कम होती जाएगी, but there reaches a point when the further addition of the solvent does not affect the concentration. That is what is known as infinite dilution. तो study के लिए जितनी भी pairs ली गई strong electrolytes की, they were taken at infinite dilution and he studied their molar conductivities. One more important thing about these pairs was that each pair had a common cation or anion. For example, here we have a pair of potassium bromide and sodium bromide. The common is the anion. Bromide ion is the anion and it's common in both of them. इस side में there are all salts of potassium and sodium. First pair में common anion is bromine. Second में common anion is chlorine. Third में common anion is NO3 negative. First में bromide ion, second में chloride ion. On this side what we have done is we have taken almost similar pairs. These are the salts of bromine and chlorine. In the first pair the common cation is potassium. In the second pair common cation is sodium. And in the third pair common cation is lithium. So he did both the things, taking common anions and common cations. And he studied their lambda naught m, which is their molar conductivity at infinite dilution. In the table you can see every salt has its value, it has its definite value. But what is there to observe is that इनका जो third column है difference का, the difference between the values of each pair is the same. In all these potassium sodium salts, the first one has bromide ion as the common pair, difference between the two 23.41. In the second the common anion is chloride ion, difference 23.41. In the third NO3 negative is the common ion, difference 23.41. Similarly on this side the common cation is potassium, difference 2.06. Common cation is sodium, difference 2.06. Common cation is lithium, difference is the same, 2.06. That is the observation he made from his study, that when I took the pairs of strong electrolytes at definite dilution, infinite dilution, and I studied their molar conductivities, I observed that the difference in the molar conductivities of these various pairs remains the same, right? Now out of this observation he drew a conclusion. What was that conclusion? That since the difference is the same, what do we understand of this? This is what we understand, that each ion makes a definite contribution to the total molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution, irrespective of the nature of the other ion of the electrolyte. KBr, KCl, NABr, NaCl. Values are different, but the difference is the same between the values. So from this same difference he gave us a conclusion that in these pairs, irrespective of the nature of the other ion, which can be a cation or an anion, each ion makes its own specific contribution to lambda naught m of the electrolyte. That is why the difference is the same. Now keeping in mind the whole study, then this observation, then this conclusion, he gave us a law which is known as Kulrosh's law. Now if lambda naught m, molar conductivity, is the molar conductivity of the salt, Kulrosh said that we'll call the molar conductivities of ions as molar ionic conductivities. And according to the law, the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte, lambda naught m, is the sum. What is it? It is the sum of the limiting ionic conductivities of the cation and the anion. We have taken the mathematical expression. If our electrolyte is AXBY, its lambda naught m is equal to small lambda naught plus lambda naught minus summation of the ionic conductivity of cation and ionic conductivity of anion. What is X and Y? Limiting ionic conductivities of the cation and the anion, each multiplied with the number of ions present in one formula unit of the electrolyte. X, because we have AX, X number of cations in the one formula unit, and Y number of anions in this one formula unit. This is the simplest possible mathematical expression of Kohl-Rosch's law, that एक electrolyte की molar conductivity is the summation of the ionic molar conductivities and each ion multiplied by the number in one formula unit. I've taken very simple examples here. Lambda naught m for NaCl will be lambda naught Na plus lambda naught Cl negative. Lambda naught m for BaCl2 barium chloride will be lambda naught Ba2 plus, divalent positive hota hai, plus 2 lambda naught Cl negative, because in one formula unit we have 2 chloride ions. Lambda naught m for Al2SO4 3 is twice lambda naught Al3 plus 3 times lambda naught SO4 2 negative. Now if you have to define, if you have to explain the same law, this Kohl-Rosch's law, in terms of equivalent conductivity, here in these previous slides we described it in terms of molar conductivities, which is done usually, but in case you have to explain it in terms of equivalent conductivity, the expression is on the same terms. Lambda naught EQ stands for equivalent conductivity, will be equal to lambda naught of cation plus lambda naught of anion. Right? The equivalent conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution is again the sum of these two values. Depending upon its value depends on the ionic conductivity of the cation and the ionic conductivity of the anion. Now in general, if you have the charge given also, what we do here, we do not take into consideration the number of cations and the number of anions. In this case, we take into consideration the charge on cation and charge on anion, so that lambda naught EQ is equal to 1 by n plus, not simply n plus, but 1 by n plus lambda naught m of cation, conductivity of cation, and 1 by n minus lambda naught anion. Now n plus is the charge on cation and n minus is the charge on anion. This is all about Kohl-Rosch's law. In our next presentation, we'll be doing applications of Kohl-Rosch's law.